Hello! Wow, I didn't realise the camera was so wide. I've got a messier background this month. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join me once again for our second live Friday Night Live, the sequel. Hope you can all hear me. Well, put my chest hair away. It's very warm. It's so warm. It's 30 degrees in the UK, which is where I'm coming to you from. I'm coming to you from Halifax in West Yorkshire, in the UK, once again. I've got my headphones on because I've got my fan on because it's so hot. Well, I've not got my headphones on because it's hot. I've got my headphones on because I've got my fan on. I don't want me to be put off by the sound of some rotating blades. I bet you're all enthralled by the live so far. Incredibly exciting, isn't it? This is the content that you're here for. It's wonderful. The internet. Anyone in the whole world could watch this right now, if they wanted to. You know, Donald Trump could watch it if he's playing golf. He could just go on his golf buddy and just put his phone on and watch this. England manager could watch this after training. It's brilliant, the internet, isn't it? And that's what we at Feathertree Arts are harnessing. We're harnessing the internet to tell stories and to use the freedom of 2026 in the online world. Anyway, as you probably know from last time, I talk a lot of rubbish, but there we go. That was perfect. Sometimes some of the things that I say are actually quite interesting, so let's hope that happens today. Is there a way to go full screen with this? I'm not sure there is. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to join me once again. Yeah, my name's David. I'm an actor, producer, and co-founder of Feathertree Arts. Yeah, and this is our second live, and I'm feeling a bit less trepidation this time because this is our second stream. And the first stream, it's usually hardest doing something the first time. It's usually quite hard. I'm just going to check because I can't see any comment boxes or anything this time. So I wonder if I'm on the right. If I'm on the right part of YouTube. What amateur I am, but that's fine. Like I said, it's a work in progress. I can ask her if she can see me. Ah, so it looks like I set this to kids somehow. Anyway, thank you, Lydia. Lydia is our brilliant comms lead. She's on our board. She's got experience in writing, editing, filmmaking, you name it. As I mentioned, I'm David. I'm an actor and a producer. Chris is our wonderful managing director and co-founder. His many talents include writing, project management, format development, and he does a brilliant job steering the ship. We've got Cheryl Ann, who's another of our writers and format developers. We're a mixed bag, but we work very well together and we work across the world on the internet. Cheryl Ann and Lydia are in the US. Me and Chris are in the UK. Many of our actors, some of them are in the UK, some of them are in the US. One of the brilliant things about the internet, like I said, is that everyone can connect and work together. There's no boundaries, well, geographically anyway. Okay. I still can't see any comment box. So if anybody does comment, I'm not sure I'll be able to see it. Maybe Lydia, if you do a test, do a comment and I'll see if it comes up. What would I do without you? Okay. Yes, bear with me. I've still got my training wheels, as it were, when it comes to lives. I can't do a live yet completely off the cuff. So I've got notes. So if I'm referring to notes, I'm not looking at you lovely people all the time. I do apologise. Um, but I am an overthinker, like many of us are, many creatives and actors are, which is a strength. It shows we care and it shows we prepare for things. But I can't just jump on a live and completely make it all up, which is probably for the best, because otherwise it should be it'd be more incoherent than it already is. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting how presenting or going live feels different from acting for me, because in acting I'm used to playing a character. I'm literally playing, whereas now I'm not really playing. I'm not using my imagination so much. There's probably less room to play when you're live. Anyway, I digress. Please, let's make this interactive. Ask any questions. One of the reasons for doing lives is we want to meet more people. We want to expand ourselves. I think can't see who's access to this feature. I'm not sure I can see who's watching. What I've done differently this time. Interesting. I can see that 4 people are watching, but I can't tell who. Interesting. I do apologise. I don't have access to this feature. Whilst I'm faffing about, please everyone, let me know. Oh, I've got a question. Do you feel bad about model and actors getting mixed up in this era? No, I don't think there's any reason to feel bad. Wave of consciousness. Thanks for joining us. The different, I think the different disciplines. One I would see is more static modelling, but they serve different purposes. Static is in it's photography, to a large degree, I guess. Acting is more about moving images and playing a character. But I guess it's both of them be playing versions of yourself. Like when I've done photo shoots, you're still working with a director and they still have a vision, and they're still sort of giving you an essence of what they want. Like, I want you to look smart, or I want you to look really happy in this photo and relaxed. You might be sat on a beach and like, let's just smile. You might be working with another person. It's kind of nearly, I suppose they're a form of adverts. What that answers the question. So yeah, both performance in some way. They both require relaxation. And that's talking about the similarities. So I don't feel so beauty and acting different thing. Yeah. But they mix, don't they? There's beauty in modelling, there's beauty in acting. Yeah. So no, I don't feel bad. It depends on the project, doesn't it? And I think it's good that people potentially have the opportunity to do both, like models. Like some models have gone into acting, haven't they? And definitely a lot of actors do modelling. Probably see more actors, I guess, do modelling than vice versa. Yeah, the two do different things, and that's absolutely fine. So who are we? We are Feathertree Arts. We're a versatile, progressive multimedia production company with a heartfelt desire to change storytelling and social media for the better, forever, for everyone. And I love being a part of Feathertree because from the beginning, we have subscribed to so many positive values together, which is obviously common when people come together and work together. We need to have the same values, similar values, similar vibes. Yeah, everyone connects with our sense of community, broadening perspective through diversity, kindness, freedom, opportunity, offbeat and wonderfully dark sense of humour, which you can see If you look at our sketches on our YouTube channel, Feathertree_arts. I had a few links I wanted to put in the chat that I can't do. But if Lydia, if you wouldn't mind bobbing links in, and then people can, well, they can just click on our YouTube channel. There's a few links I want to share a bit later on as well. Yeah, and we want to foster improved well-being. So I think we've all had experiences with social media, or have had relationships with social media and thought, this can be done better. Social media can be driven, or part of it anyway, can be driven towards connection and creativity and fostering things that are less short term. We're not about the algorithm, we're not about comparison, we're about freedom and being who you are, and opportunity, and not feeling addicted to something. We want people to mention that very soon. We want people to come to our app, get engrossed in it, get engrossed in creative stories, but connect with each other, connect with their tribe. So yeah, I guess there still will always be a place for your Facebooks and your Instagrams, but we are in a different part of entertainment and social media. So yeah, Scenes is the name of our social digital theatre app that's on Apple and Android. If you search Scenes Social Digital Theatre on there, you'll find it. And what is Scenes? Well, it's a multi-week real-time performance format, digital theatre format, and it combines the spontaneity of found footage with the power of audience interaction, and it mirrors to an extent how we live and connect in our world today. It's dynamic, it's engaging, and it's perfect for exploring complex themes in new creative ways, which you can't always do on social media, traditional social media. So the Network of Worlds is our flagship story that's taken. It's quite an expansive story, so it's something that we've developed over a long period of time, which is fine because we want to get it right. And the first time we told the Network of Worlds was on Facebook. It was on a Facebook group. We set up a Facebook group where we had characters that were posting sequentially about in this alien arrival story. But it didn't quite work as we hoped, because characters posted, the actors playing the characters posted on their social media, on the Facebook group, in certain times in day to move the story along. So it was a bit like the War of the Worlds. Of course, now the War of the Worlds back when it was released, it terrified people because it was so real, and it was on the radio, and they couldn't just jump on X or Twitter or Truth Social or Facebook or wherever and verify whether it was real. It was delayed, like delayed gratification. It would take some people probably a long time to realise that it was a story, and it was so powerful a story that people were engrossed. So we were mixing, as I mentioned, we were mixing sort of found footage style with storytelling. So each character was in a different place in the world, and they interacted with the characters. Won't give too much away because you can tune in and watch the Network of Worlds when we do it again. And there is information on our website as well, feathertreearts.com. But yeah, it didn't work because the Facebook algorithm, it didn't show people the posts in the right order, in a sequential order. And the key thing for us in Scenes is that it's sequential digital storytelling. So you're going to see the posts in a certain order, so that, as the writer intended, the story can be told in a certain order. Because imagine if you're watching a series and you get fed episode 5 before episode 1, then you get episode 7, then 9, and then 2. You're like, oh, it's not as the writer intended. Question: how is social media storytelling different from traditional narrative storytelling. So social media storytelling. So we can. It's more interactive for the audience. So um, so the audience can comment on a story, and if the writer chooses, up to them, the audience can shape that story. Similar to when you go down, what do you call it? When you those stories where you can choose the direction that the story goes to an extent, it's up to the writer. Um, and it's told sort of over a space of time, like in real time, whereas usually traditional storytelling is not told in real time. Some films are, but the vast majority are not jumping from place to place throughout 90 minutes, 2 hours, or a series. Whilst you might still jump from place to place, in social media storytelling, it's not quite um, it's not quite the same. But we're still learning about social storytelling because we think it's a new format. We think it follows some broad rules. So it's a mix of third person, traditionally filmed scenes, like you see mostly in TV and film, where you've got sort of a scene, you've got the director and the camera person that's doing the scene, and you've got the actors. And whilst creatives can choose to have that, um, they can also incorporate social style, so like a vlog style, so like self-filmed personal filming, like on your phone, like talking to camera. Which, whilst some traditional storytelling does incorporate that, it's still mostly sort of third-person traditional scenes in traditional TV and film. And scenes should be between about 1 and 7 minutes long. So striking that balance between not necessarily having a huge amount of time to invest in a story, um, but it's up to the audience how on our app how often they see posts. They can choose whether they see posts every day, every week, how often a story becomes um, available to them. And there won't be messaging sort of on the app. There won't be people sending you spoilers, going, this is what happens, and it's spoiling the story for you. Some days can have, so we're thinking 3 to 5 scenes a day, probably maximum. Some depending on the balance of the story. It's all about balance. It's all about what the writer intends, the production team, how they think it will fit. Some days can have more, some days will have less, but not too much. Otherwise, it starts to drag, it starts to overwhelm, and that's something we want to avoid. We want to avoid the overwhelm that traditional social media can cause for people. We don't want it to be a mindless chore, doom scrolling. We want it to be the complete opposite, joy scrolling. What's the question? What is the hardest thing you've ever had to do on camera from an actor's perspective? Hardest thing. It requires some thought because there's different. I've done different sort of scenes. So I've done some scenes had hard for different reasons. So I did a scene once where I was completely naked. This project sadly never came to fruition. Not because I was naked. I'm not saying that's the sad reason, just because it didn't work out the project I thought. And that was hard because I had to be um, I was naked in front of people that I knew and was comfortable with them, but it was, yeah, I've not been naked in front of a lot of people. Interesting tangent, this, isn't it? So that was difficult because of the uncomfortability. But and the second, if I ever have to do that for a second time, like doing a second live, it's difficult, hopefully. I think doing emotional scenes are difficult. Well, I don't want to limit myself and say difficult. I don't want to. I don't like to give my subconscious brain allow it to have limiting beliefs. So difficult's maybe not the best word, but sometimes, especially if an emotion isn't natural to you. So like I've had scenes where I've had to be upset. In fact, there's a scene I'm doing next week where the character's supposed to be sobbing, really upset, like crying a lot. Um, but I think relaxation is really key for that. I'm not pushing myself. In emotional scenes, you're often playing a character who's trying to hold back the tears, and sort of in doing that, you then, because you hold it back, it then releases itself naturally rather than trying to force tears. And just like, just like your face is all like, just like you're a pirate, rather than someone who's upset. Because yeah, I've read acting books where it's as if a director says you have to cry on camera and on cue, boom. I remember seeing an interview with Margot Robbie in Babylon where she had to cry a single tear from an eye at a certain moment in a scene. She had to do it a lot of times. She did it because she's fantastic and she's a pro. But I try and watch things like that and try not to be scared that I may not necessarily have that level of aptitude. But I am I'm individual, and you can still be upset and still be invested and real, even if you don't physically cry tears. You can still be upset, and you can get a bit of help from tear sticks and things like that. I hope that it's not not a particular scene that I can remember. But anyway, good question. Yeah, as I mentioned, social storytelling. The story is mapped out, performed sequentially in real time. So I hope it gives that realistic everyday feel. Um, and as I said, there's a potential to use audience comments to develop characters and stories as well as scenes, and there's potential for the characters to interact with the audience, which is kind of where it's kind of like social digital theatre. It's exciting. Yeah, it's organic. I mean, cat videos are fun, but on our app, they won't be popping up randomly when you're engrossed in the story. Everything will be targeted and balanced, um, and not about purely about views and the algorithm and getting as much money as possible. It's about creativity, and exploration, and building something which has more value. We believe, than just being purely focused um, on being commercial. It's independent storytelling. There's no studio execs or financiers who might only care about money, which, you know, when you're a film studio, you have to caring about money. It's not a bad thing because you don't want to go bankrupt. Um, but in studios, they have to take sometimes creative decisions about um, about money and about certain scenes. And yes, you can have this, and no, you can't have that because it costs too much money. And it's sad when your vision is perhaps held back by not having the resources. But on our app, it's not yet because we're a viable sort of minimum viable product at the moment. We're a prototype. We got UK government funding to fund our prototype, which is really exciting because it showed that people believed in us, and we will repay that belief. But yeah, whilst you will sort of work with us, and we can help you. We've got formats and templates to help people style their stories, and also on our YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Our TikTok and Instagram is feathertree.arts, and on the YouTube there's demos. On the website we have demos. There's a prototype page. Maybe we could put the link to the prototype page where you can watch Chris do some really cool demos to give you more of a visual sense of what it's about. And so you don't just got this Yorkshireman droning on about it. putting you to sleep. Wake up. Yeah. So we, a lot of the information I've shared today is on our website. Please go and dive down a creative rabbit hole on the website. And on the prototype page, there's a link to join us in our Discord community. And if there's anybody out there that's interested in and experienced in building communities, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to be reaching out soon to look at bringing other people on board to help us build the community aspect. Because we have quite a few people in our Discord channel, but we've not necessarily got that booming creative community that we want just yet. We want to build this app with everyone because it is for everyone and anyone. But creatives of any kind can come and join us and explore what Sean Connery, social storytelling means to them. We want to add you to our band of creative explorers. We want your input. We want your expertise, whether you're an actor, producer, writer, sound assistant, editor, anyone that enjoys contributing to stories and themes that mean something to them. Wholly welcome. I mentioned diversity, which that word can get a bad rep, especially at the moment. People say, "Oh, diversity is a weakness," but we want all these perspectives. We want to work through the power of the internet and beyond, and pull creative people together to tell stories that mean something to them, and it'll mean something to the audience. And with a mixture of storytelling, you're not limited on the format. You don't have to stick to traditional scenes. You don't have to stick to your script fitting in to a short film, 20-minute length, or 90-minute 2-hour feature film, or into 10 hours. You don't have to build up your characters and flesh things out more than you think is organic. You don't have to. We're not going to say to you, "Oh, you have to have." You have to at least do 6 episodes in the series. You can do what you want. It's up to you. Sometimes you can do minimum viable products for stories. You might tell your story. You might want to put the feelers out and see what our app is about. And by the way, if anyone wants to ever book a call on with us, then please reach out because we love to talk to people. And oftentimes when we have meetings with people, it's easier to get across our ideas and what we mean by social storytelling. I don't always have the best powers of verbal description. I think I'm more prone after I can write something down, which is why I write notes. It's easier for me to explain myself. But yeah, come meet with us and see what it's all about. Because it's a mixture between the old and the new. There's a lot of opportunity. Question: any advice for improv acting? Just go with it. There's the yes and rule. You're building on something. Building on a scene when you're with others. You're not closing each other off. You're not shutting ideas down. You're not through planning a scene. You're just going with it. We've got so many billions of neurons in our brain that you will have ideas and you can go with your creative instincts. There are no wrong answers. Just be free and allow yourself. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to force yourself to say anything. You don't have to force a scene. We have a brilliant group of actors in our Whose Prompt Is It Anyway group, where we have some creative. We have a listing on Backstage, and we can share a link to. I would share it if I could. I still can't see the comments. yeah, we have lots of prompts that actors of any experience, even non-actors, if you just feel like having a go, you can. The details on our website as well. We're going to make sure our castings are on our website as well, feathertreearts.com, where we've got some darkly comic prompts that you can just improvise from. And they can be short videos, or if you're feeling super creative, you can build it up into sketch length and work with it. We had an actor recently, Abid, who took one of our prompts about sort of making fun of capitalism, where there's a bench in a park and the bench starts charging people rent for sitting on it. I'm like, this is absurd, yes, but it's within the rules, so you have to abide by it. And Abid, his prompt was so good and so brilliant, and we could tell that there was such a brilliant writer that we asked them if we could work with them to develop a script. Shred Malice performed for us, and it's brilliant. That was released this week on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. But that's the beauty of the internet and collaboration. We can do that. We've got that freedom to do it. Like I said, no commissioning models, no angry bosses, no horrible control squishing down your hopes and dreams. Yeah, we're all about collaboration, creatives producing and performing together. So, yeah, I won't go on for too much longer. Don't want to keep you from your Friday night. Yeah, further down the line, we'll be working on functions like AR props and sets and costumes. So kind of a little bit like similar to Snapchat filters, but it's not going to be focused on just on a 5-second video of everyone like, oh. We're going to the filters are creative tools that can be incorporated into stories to create costumes and things like that to make it easier to tell your story wherever you are. It could be in the middle of Sheffield come to mind. You could be in Sheffield in Steel City, and you could have an idea, and you could go out and you could film it. You could build a story from just walking around the park. What happens if I've got a great idea of how Steel City, steel and nature can combine. I do talk some rubbish. Question: what is the best feature on the app for storytellers? Will we be able to tell our own stories easily? Yes, you'll be able to tell your own stories very easily. You also can submit. There's a tell a story section of our website, and you can submit story ideas, and we can talk to you. But it's not a long, drawn-out commissioning process of going through rounds and funding and months and months and months. If you're a creative and you've got an idea of a script, it's so free and open that there's nothing really stopping you from telling it. Best feature on the app? The best feature on the app, I'd say maybe the sequential element. You get to tell a story sequentially on an app, which isn't easy. You don't have to push it all in together into a 2-hour film. You can tell it sequentially in bite-sized chunks. A bit like maybe have on instead of trying to shoehorn it onto like an Instagram grid or something like that, you tell it on a storytelling app that you can earn money from. Creators can earn money from their stories. Probably talk about funding models and things like that at a later date. But we will be commercializing soon. We're developing, working on a few bugs on the app. But we have to have a patient approach. We said we'd talk about challenges a bit today. We've had to be patient because it's taken probably a lot longer than we expected to get the app to a stage where we could tell our own stories. But that's life. We've got so many eyes in the fire with Whose Prompt Is It Anyway? Which is going to include dramatic prompts as well soon, comedic and dramatic prompts in our sketches, and building our community. That being patient hasn't been too difficult because we're not just wedded to one thing. We're not just limited to waiting for the app to be fully ready. We've got other things that we're doing. And our first story on the app will be Glitching the System, our premiere. And Chris described it really compellingly in a blog post that I shared last time as well. It's a thriller. It's inspired by our struggles developing and making the app live. So we've used our struggles and fed that into a story, into a thriller, which is perfect, isn't it? You can use they say that, what's that phrase about the cracks and where the light can come in? And you can find opportunity in anything. So, yeah, it's in a found footage side with the Feathertree team themselves. So, like, I'm in it, Chris is in it, Miriam, one of our interns, who, wow, she's a fabulous actor. Wait till you see some of her scenes, they're very powerful. That's what we're about. We're about opportunity and growing. We're all, with digital storytelling, it's like, for me, I can act, I can produce. Day to day, like feeding, looking at a grant application, giving comments on that. Thinking about my own stories, because I used to like writing when I was at school. I was good at English, but I never properly got ideas finished. I used to do like write little adventure stories and I might not finish it. I get to the end of the term and the teacher will be like, "Oh, that's a really good story. You're going to finish that?" And I have to say, "Yeah, I wouldn't do. I procrastinate. Bad procrastinator." But there we go. Everyone's on their own journey, going at their own pace. Yeah, and with Glitching the System, imagine if the crew of the Nostromo were trying to build a social media app instead of dealing with a xenomorph. Okay, you're halfway there. It's got a proper horror vibe to it, and we think it'll make you jump on a surprise visit from your mother-in-law. I'll be performing that live in the app when we fix a few bits. When it's ready. We've got Ryan's in that story too. I've done some of the sketches with, and Ryan's done some brilliant comedic prompts. And it's great to give someone like Ryan that's got such a brilliant creative mind, comedy prompts and sketches and drama and that comedy. Creating the characters for the sketches is just so much fun. I think me and Ryan are both very free actors. We don't like being silly. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and hopefully that comes across in some of our sketches, like the Mad Pop of Nottingham and Little Piggy. I think I'll bring it to a close because there are a few more things I can talk about. Things like filming Glitch and my experience as producing. But I have talked a bit about my experience. I think what I will say about producing is I work in customer service as my day job, and I think that when you interact with people, your energy and how you want to make someone feel, which is something I learned from my acting coach and my agent, Matt Zena. How you want to make someone feel, like when you go into an audition, how do you want to make that person feel? Like the other day I did up an audition, I looked in the eyes and in a nice way, not like in the snooker when they go like, hold to try and don't do that and be dramatic. Healthy introduction. How do I want to make you feel? How can I be remembered? Oh, that guy was chill and he was brave and he made good choices, but he made choices. Some worked, some didn't. He took direction. Now, how do you want to make them feel? So with producing, it's about how do you want to make people feel? I want to make people feel valued. We say thank you so much to our actors when they do sketches for us. We suggest that they do, like I mentioned with Shred, Shred did an initial prompt for us, for Whose Prompt Is It Anyway, and then we saw that his style would really work with the Rent a Bench sketch. So those two things came together, and then he performed that. It's kind of all working together and all feeding off creativity and just having fun. And building a life, a creative life, building a business. Yeah, so I try and produce it as well, trying to, with messages, because somebody might always, even if it's only one message, being polite and thinking about how I want to make somebody feel. I want them to feel valued and excited about a project. I'm not going to put pressure on them. I'm going to respect your time. It has to be a balance. They have to. We we are flexible and we evolve our approaches, and we make sure we don't ask too much time from people. We're honest in the beginning about working with an artist, for example, how much time we think something's going to take, how much time do you think it's going to take. Probably that's more important, and then we'll think, so maybe it's going to take this amount of time, and maybe spend 3 hours a month on this, and it's going to take a certain amount of time, and that's fine. This Rome wasn't built in a day, and we all have commitments, and it's about also being polite in enforcing those boundaries. And if someone's not given that time commitment, sort of agreed to ask it, is there a problem? Do you want to rethink it? And making sure it works for everyone. But yeah, I'm gonna bring it to an end there. Keep an eye on our social media channels. You can donate to Glitch in the System. I know I'm talking about money now. And our Buy Me a Coffee page, even 50p, it just helps us. It's a profit share, so everyone, we like quality, and we want everyone to get paid something for being part of that project. So we're using our own time. We've all got commitments and day jobs and things, and we're using our spare time to build something that's hopefully going to be really valuable for a very long time. However. So yeah, we want to meet you. Reach out to us. Jump on our Discord, feathertreearts.com/prototype. Join the link, see what it's all about. And I'll leave it there. We'll see you next month. It's looking like a monthly thing at the moment. We can talk about maybe in future we'll talk about producing. I can talk about more about producing and acting and experiences on set, making glitch and things like that. But please let us know what you want us to discuss, because this is your community as well. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Until next time. The button's free. It's weird how it's mirrored. Bye bye.